Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking in the Word. Hey, as we're going through Leviticus, right now we're in appointed festivals. These are festivals that God had set up for the people of Israel. Okay, and we're in part 2 today. And today we're talking about the Passover and the Festival of Unleavened Bread. I put these two together because they're together here in the Bible, and they are kind of tied together. Like we have Christmas and New Year's, and that's kind of tied together, but because it's like a week apart. But this is actually closer than that. It's actually, you start off with Passover, and then it's the unleavened bread as it continues on for 7 days of that festival. And these events are together because they happen together there. Okay, so some of these festivals are to help us to remember what happened in the past and what God has done for us. Okay, so that's why we have a lot of festivals and holidays, is to help us to remember our past. So let's read today. This is taken from Leviticus chapter 23, verses 5 through 8, and I want you to see how this points to Jesus, really. Okay. And this is, again, Leviticus 23, 5 through 8. It says this: the Lord's Passover begins at sundown on the 14th day of the first month. Okay, so, and they really had their calendar start off with this. Okay, they redid the calendar and it came out. God said, this is going to be like one of the first events here, the first event. And because that's what he wanted. Verse 6, on the next day, the 15th day of the month, you must begin celebrating the festival of unleavened bread. This festival to the Lord continues for 7 days, and during the time the bread you eat must be made without yeast. On the first day of the festival, all the people must stop their ordinary work and observe an official day for a holy assembly. For 7 days you must present special gifts to the Lord. On the 7th day, the people must again stop all their ordinary work to observe an official day for holy assembly. Okay, so you had the Passover, and then you had that first day of unleavened bread. You didn't work; it was like a holiday. And then the last day, or like a Sabbath, really, was also a day you didn't work also, and you weren't permitted to work there. So as we look at the Passover is to remember how God saved those people, saved the firstborn children, by you sacrificed a lamb, you killed a lamb, you put that blood over the doorpost, okay? And then when the death angel saw that blood, he would pass over that house. And so that's why it's called Passover, because the angel would pass over, okay? Again, this points to Jesus, and we've talked about this back in Exodus too, so you can go back and look at it there too. But it points to Jesus by the blood of the lamb, the sacrifice given to save people, okay, in a simple way there, okay. Then you had this festival of unleavened bread that happened after that, and you're like, what's the big deal about the unleavened bread? Well, they were commanded not to eat bread with leaven in it, because when you put leaven in the bread, it takes time for that bread to rise. That's the purpose of putting leaven in the bread, is to make that bread rise. And God had told them, don't make any leavened bread, make it unleavened, because you don't have time to wait for that dough to rise. You need to make that bread with all the nourishment in it and then be on your way. Because they were to leave as soon as this event happened, okay? So it wasn't a big, we couldn't wait for that bread to rise. So that's why that is. This also symbolically, leaven, if you look at it throughout the Bible here, leaven represents sin, okay? And so during that festival, you were to clean the house and make sure that there was no leaven in the house, because that represents sin, and so you were supposed to get all that out of your house and clean up the house. Now, keep in mind here too, this was the only way of saving the people of that firstborn child, okay, with the Passover like that. There was no other way. You couldn't say, hey, you know what, I think I'm not going to do a lamb, I'm going to do a cat or a dog. and put that lamb over there. Not acceptable, okay? You would have been dead. Or you go, I'm not a big blood person. I'm going to put water over that thing. Well, too bad for you. You're dead, all right? So this was the only way, and in the same way, Jesus is the only way of salvation. So I just wanted to go through those festivals, and again, it brings us back. It helps us to remember the history, and especially the people of Israel, but it helps us to remember too, and how it points to Jesus with this festival, Passover, and the festival of unleavened bread. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow as we continue our journey through Leviticus. Lord's blessing. I'll see you then. Hey, good day to you. This is Todd. I am a regular dude walking